welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. Today we're talking about bags that I've decided to pass or to hold off, and the reasons why I've made those decisions. And I have a whole bunch of my own bags to show you because I'm telling you these are kind of the alternative or the reasons why I decided to put off those bags for now. I just want to say before I go on to any further, these are bags that I truly love and still admire and wishing that I could add to my collection. But, you know, obviously I have a limited budget, so I'm giving myself a list of excuses or reasons to delay those purchases or to skip those purchases because of the reason I'm going to lay out in my video below. So obviously these reasons will be somewhat personal because depending on what you already have in your own collection, but some are just like general considerations. So hopefully this is helpful to you, and hopefully this will also, you know, help you out if you're in a similar situation as me. Anyways, the very first one is the Multi Pochette accessoire. So I mean, that bag was just everywhere on Instagram for last year or two. And then right now, obviously, you're seeing less and less of it. It's all part of, you know, supply and demand and trending, right? Like these bags are being supplied to YouTubers and influencers, and obviously they are obligated to wear them, and it looks really nice. Like I still think it looks really cool. I did my video on how I convert my two pochettes into the multi pochette, like to give that multi pochette look. If you haven't checked, I'll link it down below. But basically, I mean, it is combining a lot of like classic element, but it converted into a very unique type of style. I still think it's a really cool bag. A lot of people have that bag, or a lot of people might still be hunting for that bag. But personally, I think at the end of the day, I've decided to pass on it just because I still feel like it was done a little too much, and it was just everywhere. And plus at the same time, I mean, it's not a cheap bag. At the end of the day, it is a combination of a few different elements, but the total price is still pretty hefty, especially after the price increases. So I just didn't think it was justified, especially I was able to sort of convert the strap and the pochettes to give that similar look, which, you know, like I said, you can check out in my other video. So I didn't really feel like it was justified for me to make that big purchase and add it to my collection. But this one here, like I said, I was able to use the strap and the bigger pochette and make that into kind of to give that multi pochette look, which I thought it was pretty cute as well. But anyways, it had to be a little longer. It obviously had that wider nylon strap, but I still think just with my mini pochette, it is already in the monogram print. I use this one very often. So anyways, I just looking at it, I didn't think it was needed, and especially now that the trend is kind of blowing over, at this point I think it's one that I can either hold off or to pass on altogether, given there are a number of other things I might need to consider. So anyway, so the number one on my list is the Multi Pochette accessoire. And again, I do admire all those of you who actually have the bag. It is a beautiful bag. I still think it's really cool, but anyway, it's just on my list because I can't have every bag out there. And linked to that one, number two on my list, actually it's surprisingly the pochette accessoire. So you guys notice that I only have the mini with me here. The reason is I've actually passed on the pochette accessoire to my mom. I did end up buying a lot of Louis Vuitton pieces last year, and between, I think I did a luxury this and that tag, and between the mini one versus the actual regular size pochette, I prefer the mini one, and I just feel like it was definitely somewhat redundant to have both. That gives essentially the similar silhouette, similar look when I wear them. And the mini one, I think it's cuter on my frame maybe, and the regular size one is it looks really nice on my mom. So I did end up pass on that one to my mom. And another thing is obviously the bigger pochette accessoire is meant to wear just underarm, so that it's also a really big trend factor right now. So it's like the ones with a little short strap where you can just wear as a short shoulder bag. That's not really a look for me. So I never really was into that, wearing it that way, and that's why I didn't think it was making sense for me to own the bag. So I just decided to not, I give it away to my mom, and I didn't think I would purchase another one. But another reason to that is because I've purchased the Dior saddlebag, and now it's like two completely different things, obviously. But this bag, I would wear it in a similar way, in that it's a short shoulder strap bag, and it kind of wears just underarm like this, which I think is actually really comfortable. It sits really well on your shoulder, and I think it works really nicely with, it's, you know, I just really like this bag. It's one I always wanted to add to my collection, and for being as part of that trend to wear like a short shoulder strap bag, I think this will do. Like, I don't think I need like multiple, because it's not really a type of look that I generally would go for. Even with the saddlebag, I tend to wear like at the crook of my arm, or I just like hold it on the handle part, like so. So anyway, so my reason for that then is just, I didn't think I needed multiple in my collection to be wearing just like a short shoulder strap bag. And yeah, so that's why my number 2 on the list is actually the Pochette accessoire, which I think will be surprising because I do talk about it a lot. It is such a beautiful bag though. Like, if you're contemplating and if you're debating between this and the big one, you can check out my comparison videos. But the big one does hold a lot more. It's a lot more practical. But like I said, I compared the two, and I decided that I like the smaller one better. So that's really the only reason. There's nothing wrong with it. I still would highly recommend it. My mom still loves it. So it's, you know, it's just for my own personal, like I said, this is a fairly personalized video, but that's the number 2 on the list, and that's one I will pass for now. I may consider at some point, or if I come across a really good vintage one potentially, but it's not one I would be making a purchase for anytime soon. So, you know, just following the same conversation with the shoulder strap, underarm, shoulder bags, the next one on my list is actually the Prada Re-Edition 2000. So again, cute little bag. I'm putting pictures up as I speak, obviously. You know, everyone is so crazy about it. Again, it's one of those ones that you're seeing everywhere on Instagram right now. It's in the nylon fabric. It's super practical, carefree, right? There are a lot of great reasons for it. Also, same way you wear it under your shoulder, just like that. Super cute. Again, you can hold it under your in your hand as well. But it's really, at the end of the day, it's a very simple nylon pouch. So for that amount, it's gonna, with tax in Canada, it's over $1,000. You know, for something like that to be in a nylon fabric, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if it's really worth the money for that. In the same vein, I did say the Prada Re-Edition 2005 is on my wish list. So I've debated. It's also give that very similar look to the Pochette accessoire, the Multi Pochette accessoire, with a little key pouch on the strap, right? So again, one of the similar ones, like, it's in the nylon fabric. They do offer leather option as well. I'm still thinking about it. Definitely a bag I'm still thinking, and I still do want to add to my collection because it's just, I'm heavily influenced obviously by it. I do think the look is really cool. I can see that one, you know, the one with a little key pouch, so the 2005, to be, you know, workable for a lot of my outfit and things like that. But given that I've made a lot of big purchases recently, it will have to wait. Well, it'll happen later, and definitely not the 2000, because like I said, I would rather just wear my Dior if I am looking for the style of just short shoulder, like underarm bag. But in terms of that multi pochette look, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time and see where that goes. I may still add it to my collection, but it's one I've made peace that I've got enough to use right now, and I want to push that one off a little bit later. So like I said, the next 2 on my list were the Prada Re-Edition 2005 and the Prada Re-Edition 2000. The next one on my list, it's one I actually been thinking about for a very, very long time. There are so many times I'm really, really close to be adding it into my collection. It is the Bottega Veneta cassette bag. So that bag's been around for some time now, and since it came out, it was pretty popular. I think it was following the pouch bag, obviously, and it was like everywhere on Instagram, on a lot of other social media, and I just love it. It was like that, you know, we like, it's just really, really representative of their brand, and the plushiness of the bag, the strap, everything was like perfect. And I did so much review and study of the bag. Everyone is saying it's great. It's one of their favorite bags. It's light. It has a strap, so it's practical. Because everyone keep comparing to for people who are in love with Bottega Veneta brand, people tend to compare the cassette bag to the pouch bag, and often mentions how functional the cassette bag is compared to this one. Because the pouch bag, obviously, as you guys know, there's no strap. There's nothing, and you have to constantly hold it in your hand like so, or under your arm like this. It still looks super chic and it's very, very cool. I haven't really used this bag very often, but I still would love to have it and to use it more often because it's just so gorgeous. I think it's still one of my, you know, it's one of my most how do I say, like, most impulsive purchase, because I am a mom. I'm not super uber rich, so it's not like I can splurge on all sorts of random things. And this bag, there's so many dupes out there. Like, honestly, people would question, why would you pay that amount for this bag when you can get a dupe for like a couple $100, a fairly good one too, right? So definitely this one is the one I'm just like, I jumped on it without overthinking it, because it's just too beautiful. Like, it's hard to pass, and I definitely see myself carrying it. I feel like it's definitely something like when I'm going out or when I'm doing something fun or special, I would like to go out with this bag. And the craftsmanship, I think I've mentioned a few times now, just so well made. It's so soft and beautiful. So the two things that are the main complaints about this bag, I feel like every time I read a review about the pouch, it's like, it's so impractical, it's not great, it's only for pictures, but I still love the bag. So I feel like that's what everyone says, and I can totally relate. I feel the same way, because there's no strap, so you have to constantly hold. It's a magnetic closure. And the second biggest complaint about this bag is that if you take out all the stuffing inside, it's really like there's nothing to hold the shape of the bag. It's not very pretty when it's not fully stuffed. So you do want to have some, like, either tissue paper or like a little scarf or cardigan or something inside to keep a little bit of the volume of the bag, because that's how it will look nicer. Anyways, that's not really why I'm talking about it. So we were talking about the cassette bag. So I had this bag, and then the cassette bag was also super popular, and people keep saying how functional it is. And obviously, I like things functional, of course. But the price was even higher than this bag. If you think the price on this bag is ridiculous, the other one is even crazier. And then I came across the black one with the silver hardware ones for only $2,200 or something like that Canadian, which was a really good price. And I still couldn't do it at the time. Like, I just think, I never, again, with most of my bags, I've never got the chance to try them on or to see them in person before I make a purchase. Just because, given I'm in Ottawa, there's very limited access to these things. So same thing with Bottega. There's no Bottega in Ottawa. So if I do want to see it or try it on, I do have to make the purchase before I can do that, or when I travel to another city or something like that. Anyway, so it never happened. And then recently it was on again, I believe. The beautiful almond color in Essence, it was on for only $2,600 or something close to that, and it was just so beautiful. It was perfect color. But that was recently after I've made purchase of my Dior 19. So you guys can see there are some resemblance. They're both kind of like a pillow, soft, plushy bag. The size is somewhat comparable as well. You know, they're both in this big puffy, it's not quilt for the cassette bag, but you know, the overall feel is somewhat similar. The newer version of the cassette bag, or you know, of all their lines actually, come with these beautiful, really big, heavy, chunky chains, which I am so curious about, because I just I really want to compare, you know, how heavy the chain is compared to the 19. Anyways, it was somewhat too similar to my 19 in a lot of ways. And the fact that I just splurged on a crazy expensive bag, so I didn't think I could really justify for another big purchase anytime soon. And given the similarities in these bags, I just didn't think it made sense for me to also add the cassette bag to my collection. Lastly, I mean, one of the biggest reasons as well is Bottega brand is not one that holds their value really, really well yet. A lot of them do, like a lot of hard to get items do. The mini Jodie bags, for example, that's another one I've been thinking about. Haven't decided whether I'm going for it or not. Or the mini, even the mini pouch bag, they're super cute. That was also a bag that I was considering at one point. But basically, oftentimes they don't resell as well as Chanel, alright? So, you know, these are all my considerations when I look into these bags. And I do feel like the cassette bags, I do see them on the secondhand market as well quite often. So, I don't know. It's something I'm still considering. I still love the look. I just don't know whether I need another one when I barely have chance to use my 19 yet. So, anyways, that's basically my rationale or where I've convinced myself that I have to wait before I jump and buy another cassette bag. But you know, I've passed on it. I've passed on the really good deals twice now. If it comes around again, I think it might be very hard for me to pass again, but we'll see. So both deals, when I mentioned them, they are from Essence, and the first time was a black one, which is super classic, and then this more recent one was in the beautiful almond color, which is so pretty as well. So anyways, but the cassette bag, like I said, I decided pass because I got the 19 recently, and I do see a lot of similarities in them. And then the next one, you guys are probably gonna roll your eyes, but is the Chanel mini bag. So now I have the mini reissue, which is considered a Chanel mini as well, but they're quite different. And I got into Chanel in 2018, and that's just, I think that was the last season or last year that they were still having minis in the caviar leather. And very soon after that, they discontinued caviar leather, but everyone, if you read the purse forum, and everyone is saying you need to get it in the caviar because it's a bag that a lot of people use on a regular basis. Again, I don't have like 20 Chanels for me to alternate from. So if I get a mini, that will likely be the one that I use very often. So everyone's saying you need to get it in the caviar. Well, we waited and caviar never really came back. So last year when I was traveling, I actually did end up getting a mini in the light pink nude color, like a light salmon color. It's really beautiful. And I had to get it in the lambskin, obviously, because that was... But even in the lambskin, it's almost always sold out, the square. So I got it, and then I, after actually 2 weeks later, I did notice a pretty major defect on the strap. So I actually did have to go in and return it. And then that's also when I realized lambskin is very delicate and very easy to damage. So that made it even firm for me to say, no, you know what, I really needed a caviar. If one day they come back, maybe I'll go for it. But for now, I could, you know, that's how, again, I convinced myself to just like wait and don't purchase anything in the meantime. I say that because, but then, you know, it doesn't look like caviar is coming back. And the price keep going up like crazy. And every season they launch these beautiful new colors. And the more recent one, the brown tan color, is just so beautiful. So I'm considering potentially adding it back to my list. But anyway, there's still some hesitation. It's one that I've been putting off for like 2-3 years now. And, you know, let me know what you think. I don't know. Like, I feel like as a Chanel lover, you almost need a Chanel mini in your collection. Like I think I mentioned this a few times too. I think the bigger bag trend is coming back slowly, and personally, I do love bigger bags in general. So, anyways, I'm still debating. And in the meantime, I recently did a video on this cute little piece, which is, the size is, it's definitely smaller than the mini rectangle, but I don't know, I think this one is also really, really cute as a mini bag. So, you know, if I really need something, I will go for this one or go for my just reissue mini. So there are other mini bags. I do have quite a few mini bags in my collection, so those are all the excuses and reasons why I'm deciding to put off that purchase. But every time I look at them, I still think they're super cute and super gorgeous. So don't know how long that will last either, but we'll see. There's only so much I can do. I often say the bags will choose their owners. I know we kind of hunt for certain bags, but when the right one comes around, you know, that's the one for you. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens. So that's the next one on my list. The one after that is the Trendy CC Chanel bag. So that one also, I initially did not like the Trendy CC. I was not really a fan of that big metal plate. You know, and I just feel like it's sort of a change to the modern, the classic flap. Anyways, I just feel like that piece of hardware is gonna get scratched up over time. Don't think that would look very attractive and all that. And then I'm starting to see them more and more often on social media, obviously. And then I've seen them actually in store, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They also only come in lambskin. That was also another big consideration for me as well. But they are becoming so more and more popular, and I can definitely see the functionality, and I can see the top handle. I like the structure of the bag. It's really pretty. But, you know, knowing that I already have my classic flap, which I don't get to use very often, it is a more friendly crossbody bag, I think, the Trendy CC as well. So, I don't know. I just feel like if I do end up getting it, it would be somewhat redundant to the classic flap. I shouldn't say that because I think a lot of people with classic flap would still have the Trendy CC. So, I'm not sure yet, but I think that's one I can probably pass. I do still love it, and maybe one day, but definitely one I don't need it right away. Obviously, at the same time, if I'm looking for a top handle Chanel bag, I do have my Coco handle as well, which again, I don't use very, very often, but you know, I do feel like with these two bags in my collection, Trendy CC is probably one that can be passed for now. If I do end up selling some of these bags, you know, if I do end up letting go of my Coco handle, then potentially Trendy CC is one I may consider next. They also obviously have the new mini with a handle bag, with a handle on it. I'm not sure. I could maybe do a separate video to talk about some of these newer releases. But we'll see. Like, I think at this point, if I do have the money to pick a Chanel bag, I'll probably still go with a classic mini. Okay, so the last one, which is also one that came really close to purchasing, is the Louis Vuitton Pashematis. So that bag is really beautiful, super structured, super pretty, and it just looks very functional. It's a proper classic long-lasting bag. I think that bag, I think you know, you could have it and it will be classic. It mimic a lot of a really classic element in Louis Vuitton bags. If you look at the vintage bag, a lot of them will have those similar elements to them. The reason I decided to pass on it is simply because it's a fairly large structured bag, and I generally feel like those bags don't look as flattering on my frame. So you know, that's really the reason why I still think about it. I did seriously consider and came really, really close to purchase one at one point, but decided to pass on it. And the size of it is comparable to the Chanel 19 as well. So that's kind of another reason why I just felt like when I purchased a 19, it kind of checked off a lot of things that I want in in number of different bags. So, you know, it's a good thing. So it ended up not being a splurge because I feel like it did really help me stop my kind of urge or the need for a number of other bags. So I kind of, you know, it's a nice thing. So the size was comparable. but it's very, very structured. So I just feel like if that's the case, then it would be a little too big for me as a structured bag, not comparing to, you know, it doesn't have the soft slouchiness of the 19 bag, which definitely is something I would prefer to have instead. So anyways, those are my bags list that I've decided to pull off or to pass for now. Never say never though, so don't be surprised if in a few months you do see me unboxing one of those bags. But those are some of the bags I really, really loved but decided to pass for now. If you guys can pick one for me, or out of this list, if you have any of those bags and you just absolutely love it and think I should get one as well, please let me know in the comment below, because I really sometimes need some help from all my luxury friends out there. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!